Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, thanks for hanging out with me again today. Today we're going to be taking out the DT04 next gen fighter, whatever it is, out on the track. The only thing that's really changed is obviously the body color. I redid all that and I put the stock wheels and tires back on it. The BBX tires, while they look great, are just a little bit narrower and don't quite have the bite of the square spike tires on my track. It's a real sandy, loose, dusty surface. Square spikes seem to get a little bit more traction. The front tires, they're both going to suck, kind of the smooth ribbed style. So really I'm not getting any performance upgrade, but you know, they're matchy. The only other performance upgrade I did was I enabled the gyro on the receiver when I tore the body panels off. Something I forgot to do initially and didn't have the tools to tear the body panel off at the time out on the track to mess with it. So now we do have gyro and it's adjustable on the radio. I'm still running it on nickel metal hydride packs. Could put a lipo in there, but yeah, why? It's not going to be that great of a performing car, and you know the Z NIM packs give me plenty of runtime, and you know it's what I'm used to. So speaking of batteries, ATA Hobbies on Amazon sent over a 3-pack of the rechargeable batteries for the Radio Link and some of the Dumbo radios. These go in quite a few of the Radio Link radios, and I'm sure they go in a number of the Dumbo ones. The X4 that I have, the battery compartment isn't quite long enough to fit this in. You need something about that to get in there instead of that. But the X4 does take a lipo pack in there as well, but unfortunately these are just a little too long. But these work great in my Radio Link. Now, Phil recently did a video on them, and he was not a huge fan of them, and he actually has a 2200, bigger pack in there. I don't mind these. I prefer something like this to where it's going to be charged up and sitting around for a while. I'll charge it up before I have a big day, but a lot of times, it's sitting down here with 3/4 of a charge in it, and I prefer a lower capacity battery to be charged up and sitting around. If you guys know lipo technologies, charging them up and leaving them sitting there fully charged is not a good idea. You have a lot of voltage and excitement in the battery that just wants to get out, and leaving it sitting there charged up without running it is a good way to puff your packs, as well as discharging them too low. That is an instant way of damaging them. Going down too low, under 3 volts, generally will start to damage the composition of the chemicals and everything in there and really give you a bad day. But I don't mind them. Does it last for 6 months? No. But I don't necessarily want something in there that's going to last 6 months. Anyway, long story short, I sent over these. At least one's going to Al. I have a pair here now, and the other one may get to be a member giveaway or something, but huge thanks to them. That is what is always powering the RC8X, is the LiPo battery. And like I said, I've never had a problem with the original one that's in there, but it is nice to have a duplicate. That way I can stick this on charge, have a battery in there, and if I run out during a day hanging out with Al racing all day or whatever, I have a battery to put back in it. And it's nice to have a spare of anything. Huge thanks to ATA for sending those over. They'll definitely be used and appreciated. And like I said, always powering my radio, so I think they're great batteries. I will link down in the description below if you guys are interested. They're not very expensive at all, and a great way to get rid of the AA batteries and not have to worry about those things leaking in your radio. Anyway, let's take this guy out, see how it does. If anything dramatic happens, I'll come back and talk about it, but if not, everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe. I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.